The morning sun was already high enough to bake the dew off the grass, but inside the farmhouse, the only sign of life from the second floor was a rhythmic, undisturbed snore. Silas stood at the foot of the stairs, his boots caked in the honest mud of the north pasture. He wiped a bead of sweat from his forehead with a callous thumb. "Elias!" he hollered. The snoring hitched, sputtered, and resumed. Silas sighed. He didn't mind the work. He'd been a man of the soil since he was 12, but he minded the waste. To Silas, time was a crop that, if not harvested, rotted on the vine. An hour later, Elias finally drifted into the kitchen, rubbing sleep from his eyes like it was a heavy burden. He was 20, tall and limber. Possessed of a natural strength, he seemed determined never to test. He slumped into a chair and stared at a piece of dry toast. "The south fence is down," Silas said, not looking up from his ledger. "Coyotes will be through it by sundown." "I'll get to it, Pa," Elias murmured. "Just need to wake up a bit. The sun's been up for 4 hours. Just wide awake. Why aren't you?" "Different rhythm, I guess." Elias yawned. Silas didn't argue. He'd learned that pushing Elias was like pushing a rope. Instead, he stood up, grabbed his hat, and headed for the door. "I'm going to town for supplies. That fence needs 5 new posts and a stretch of wire. It's a 2-man job, but I reckon I'll have to be both of 'em when I get back." He left, slamming the screen door with a definitive thwack. Elias sat in the silence. He looked at the tall grass swaying outside. He thought about the post-hole digger, the heavy iron clank of it, the jar it sent through the shoulders. He leaned his head back and closed his eyes. Maybe a quick nap first, he thought. Then the fence. He woke up 2 hours later to a sound that wasn't snoring. It was a low, rhythmic thump hiss. Thump hiss. Confused, Elias walked to the porch. His father wasn't back yet. He followed the sound towards the south pasture. There, in the heat of the afternoon, he saw a figure. It wasn't his father. It was Old Man Miller from the neighboring farm. Miller was nearly 80. His back curved like a sickle. His hands gnarled by decades of the same labor Silas performed. The old man was struggling. He'd managed to dig one shallow hole, his breath coming in ragged, whistling gasps. He was leaning on the heavy iron digger, his face a dangerous shade of purple. "Mr. Miller?" Elias called out, jogging over. "What are you doing?" Miller looked up, squinting through the haze. Your pa," he panted. Past him on the road. Truck broke down. He was frantic. About the coyotes. Said he couldn't get back in time. I told him I'd start it for him. Miller tried to lift the iron digger again. His arms shook. He didn't even get it 6 inches off the ground before he stumbled. Elias caught him. The old man felt like a bundle of dry sticks in his arms. It hit Elias then, not a lecture, not a scolding, but a cold realization. His father's strength wasn't some infinite well. It was a choice. And when his father couldn't make that choice, the world relied on an 80-year-old man who barely had the strength to stand, let alone mend a perimeter. "Sit down, Mr. Miller," Elias said. His voice was quiet. I can do it," Miller wheezed. "No," Elias said, taking the iron tool. It felt surprisingly light in his young hands. "You've done your share of holes in this life." Elias didn't get to it. He just did it. He slammed the digger into the earth. Thump. He pulled the handles apart, clearing the dirt. Hiss. By the time Silas hitched a ride back to the farm 3 hours later, expecting to find his livestock in peril and his son on the sofa, he found something else. The south fence was tight. The wire was hummed with tension. And there, near the last post, Elias was sitting. Elias was sitting on the ground next to Old Man Miller. They were sharing a jug of lukewarm water. Elias was covered in dirt, his shirt soaked through, his palms starting to blister. Silas walked up, looking at the straight line of the new posts. He looked at his son's tired eyes. "Truck gave out," Silas said simply. "I heard," Elias replied. He stood up, wincing as his stiff muscles protested. He handed the water jug to his father. "Posts are deep, 6 feet apart. Shouldn't budge." Silas took a long drink. He looked at the fence, then at the sun who was finally standing tall, even while exhausted. "Sun's going down," Silas noted, handing the jug back. "Yeah," Elias said, looking at the horizon. "Good thing. I think I finally earned the right to sleep through the start of the next one." Silas reached out and clapped a heavy, dirty hand on Elias's shoulder. He didn't say, "I'm proud" or "It's about time." He just gripped the shoulder tight enough to feel the muscle underneath. "Come on," Silas said. "Let's go fix the truck." And for the first time in his life, Elias didn't ask for a nap first. He just followed.